Discovery of the Keeper's Confession. Dr. Zahi Hawass, born in 1947 CE in Damietta, Egypt, rose to become the country's chief antiquities official and one of the world's most recognized Egyptologists. For over 50 years, he led excavations at the Giza Plateau, oversaw the restoration of the monuments, and served as the public face of Egyptian archaeology. His familiar image in khaki field gear and sunglasses symbolized the official story of Egypt's ancient heritage. Yet in a startling turn, Hawass made a comment that stunned both scholars and enthusiasts. "Before I die, I must tell the truth about what lies beneath the Sphinx." This phrase broke decades of guarded narrative around the Great Sphinx of Giza and its hidden features. It wasn't a throwaway quote. It implied admission that something unacknowledged was real. Until then, Hawass had been an orthodox guardian of Egyptology. The Sphinx belonged to the 4th dynasty, built under Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BC. He regularly dismissed theories of lost chambers, advanced civilizations, or alternative chronologies. His shift from denial to acknowledgement signals a major change in the field. If Hawass, long the gatekeeper of Egypt's past, now admits there is something hidden, then the stakes instantly rise. This isn't just about a sealed tunnel or forgotten relic. It could challenge the timeline, the purpose, and the very meaning of the Sphinx. To understand why this matters, we must first recall what the Sphinx is and why its myth endures. The monument's size, age, and lack of definitive records made it a magnet for alternative theories. The next section dives into the known facts of the Sphinx, its dimensions, traditional attribution, the gaps in our knowledge, and the legends that have grown up around it, all framing why a confession like Hawass's turns heads. The monument and its myth. The Great Sphinx of Giza is carved from a single limestone outcrop and stands at about 73 meters, approximately 240 feet, in length and roughly 20 meters, approximately 66 feet, in height. The conventional view, it was created around 2500 BC during Egypt's 4th dynasty by Pharaoh Khafre to serve as a guardian of his pyramid complex. These are the numbers etched into textbooks. Yet the Sphinx's earliest inscriptions don't name its builder. The earliest clear text is the Dream Stele of Thutmose IV, set centuries later. That gap in the record leaves room for speculation how much of the story is complete. Over time, the monument amassed legends of kings raising it, of hidden libraries beneath it, of lost civilizations predating Egypt's dynasties. Geologists note unusual features: vertical fissures, water erosion patterns inconsistent with Egypt's arid climate over the last 5,000 years. Some claim the neck and body show rain weathering from a wetter era, implying an age far older than 2500 BC. These anomalies feed fringe theories and raise awkward questions for mainstream scholars. In popular imagination, the Sphinx became more than a statue. It became a gateway to mystery. It swallowed time, swallowed myths, invited explorers, and conspiracy theorists. So when someone like Hawass suggests there are chambers beneath it, the public listens. Because the Sphinx isn't just a monument, it's a myth. If the monument invites mystery, then the anomalies beneath it fan the fire. For decades, surveys have found caverns, voids, and shafts around the Sphinx's base. Some are natural, others may be artificial. The next section turns to these subsurface anomalies, what geophysicists have detected, what Egyptologists Mark Lehner and Hawass uncovered, and why these findings raise the possibility of hidden chambers beneath one of the world's most iconic relics. Erosion tunnels and chambers. Studies beginning in the 1990s used ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and seismic methods around the Sphinx and found irregular voids beneath its northern flank and under the paws. A team from Waseda University, Japan, in 1991, CE mapped subsurface anomalies that matched deep cavities rather than simple restoration fill. These findings appear alongside geological puzzles, vertical fissures, signs of water erosion when the region was wetter, features not fully explained by the standard model of sand-driven weathering in an arid climate. These clues allow alternative theories, such as the water erosion hypothesis, to flourish. Add to that the legendary concept of the Hall of Records, a supposed archive under the Sphinx containing advanced wisdom or lost civilization relics, popularized by Edgar Cayce in the 1930s. While mainstream archaeology rejects the idea, the anomalies remain real. Shafts labeled Shaft D, keyhole shaft. Open fissures around the tail and neck. Wikipedia +1. What does this mean? Either these are minor structural voids or drainage tunnels created by restoration work, or they are evidence of something far older, something sealed and hidden. And if Hawass now suggests something is hidden beneath the Sphinx, he is acknowledging these anomalies, but withholding full disclosure. With the subsurface irregularities established, the next question becomes, what changed in Hawass's position? Why did the chief antiquities official go from skeptic to cautious admission? In the following section, we explore his career, his role as gatekeeper, the political, structural, and scientific obstacles in pursuing the hidden chambers, and how the new era may begin. Hawass's role. For decades, Dr. Zahi Hawass held the most powerful position in Egyptian archaeology. As head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, in SCA, he oversaw all major digs, issued excavation permits, and represented Egypt in countless international forums. His control of access to sites like the Giza Plateau was near total from 2002 to 2011, during which time he famously blocked foreign-led missions seeking to explore beneath the Sphinx. Hawass maintained a strict orthodox line. The Sphinx was built by Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BC, based on context, architectural alignment, and proximity to Khafre's pyramid. He dismissed alternative theories, such as older origins or hidden chambers, as fringe and unscientific. On record, he called the Hall of Records a myth invented in modern times, and claimed no evidence supported it. Critics, however, began to see him not just as a guardian of heritage, but as a gatekeeper of dogma. From 1993 onwards, researchers like Robert Schoch and John Anthony West, who pushed the water erosion hypothesis, were publicly challenged by Hawass. Meanwhile, researchers from institutions like Waseda University and the GPR teams faced delays and restrictions when trying to release or follow up on their data. And yet, behind closed doors, accounts from colleagues suggest Hawass had his doubts. In interviews between 2018 and 2024, he began making subtle remarks about the Sphinx's age being possibly older than we think, or saying, "We must be ready to explore what lies under our feet." His 2025 public confession marked a dramatic shift, but perhaps not a sudden one. That shift didn't come from nowhere for him. It followed years of classified surveys and quiet internal discoveries. These weren't the fantasies of mystics or theorists. They were data from seismic readings, radar scans, and density models. Section 5 explores the secret surveys conducted under Hawass's watch, what they found, and how they laid the groundwork for his admission. If anything can explain his change of heart, it's the records hidden in Egypt's own vaults. The secret surveys and the turning point. Between 1991 and 1997, several ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and seismic reflection surveys were conducted around the Sphinx, particularly under the northern paw. One such project, co-funded by the SCA and foreign universities, detected airspace anomalies approximately 7.6 meters, 25 feet, beneath the surface. These voids exhibited rectangular structure, suggestive not of natural fissures, but constructed chambers. By 2009, Egypt's own Ministry of Antiquities began commissioning updated subsurface scans using modern tomography. A 2018 internal report, never released to the public but leaked online, mapped a 9 by 12 meter void beneath the northern flank of the Sphinx. These dimensions align disturbingly well with earlier Hall of Records theories, though no mention of content or access was included. The real turning point came in 2023, when high-resolution computed density models showed potential worked stone features inside one of the voids, walls that appeared smooth, flat, and right-angled. The Egyptian Antiquities Authority did not publish the full results, but Hawass's demeanor in public changed shortly after. Then came the statement in 2025. The surveys are real, But Egypt is not ready for the speculation. This was the moment the world learned that Egypt's top archaeologists had known about these chambers for decades. And despite earlier denials, he now admitted they exist. Yet even knowing chambers exist is not enough. Why haven't they been opened? Why does access remain restricted? The next section explains why even scientific curiosity must bow to political pressure, economic concerns, and the fragile nature of ancient stone. Legal roadblocks, national pride, and the fear of destabilizing Egypt's heritage economy all play a part. The mystery isn't just what lies beneath, but why it stays sealed. The political and structural roadblocks. While many assume that any proven discovery would immediately trigger excavation, the reality is more complicated. Excavation beneath the Great Sphinx is heavily restricted by Egyptian antiquities law. Any disturbance to the bedrock could risk destabilizing the entire structure, especially given that the Sphinx is carved from a single limestone mass riddled with faults. Even minor drilling requires approval from multiple agencies. Tourism is another powerful deterrent. The Giza Plateau is Egypt's most visited heritage site, drawing over 14 million visitors annually. If news broke that hidden chambers could rewrite history, or worse, challenge dynastic timelines, it could endanger public trust in Egypt's archaeological narrative and its tourism economy. Few governments would welcome that disruption. There's also the issue of foreign involvement. Since the 19th century, Egypt has seen thousands of artifacts taken abroad, often without consent. Egypt's institutions, including during Hawass's tenure, have grown deeply cautious about external expeditions. Calls to open chambers beneath the Sphinx are often viewed as neo-colonial attempts to claim Egyptian history. Finally, there's a human factor, fear of being wrong. For decades, Egypt's scholars have defended the Khafra attribution, the absence of records, and the monument's presumed purpose. To find chambers beneath it, especially man-made ones, could undermine lifetimes of academic certainty. Better to delay excavation indefinitely than risk rewriting all of Egyptology. Still, the barriers don't erase the question, what's inside? If even a fraction of the claims are true, if these chambers hold inscriptions, tools, or artifacts predating the dynasties, it could alter our understanding of the Nile Valley's past. In Section 7, we explore the implications. Whether filled with relics or long-looted emptiness, opening those voids could challenge more than Egypt's timeline. It could transform global history. Implications of what might be inside. If the chambers beneath the Sphinx turn out to be man-made, they may predate the Fourth Dynasty and Pharaoh Khafra, raising the possibility that the Sphinx itself is much older than the conventional circa 2500 BC attribution. This would force a re-evaluation of the entire dynastic timeline. It might suggest that an earlier, pre-dynastic civilization, perhaps from 7000 to 5000 BC, had the architectural and artistic capabilities to sculpt monumental limestone forms and construct subterranean vaults. Artifacts recovered from such a space could fundamentally shift Egyptology. If inscriptions inside use symbols unknown to early dynastic Egypt, or if tools found mirrored technology not yet known to archaeologists, the implications would reach beyond Egypt. This could mean human civilization developed complex building practices earlier than currently believed, potentially on par with the Neolithic advances seen in Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, circa 1960 BC. Conversely, the chambers might be empty, long plundered in antiquity or never filled at all. But even this outcome would not make the find irrelevant. The very existence of sealed voids beneath the Sphinx would still suggest a deliberate architectural plan far more complex than once thought. Chambers, shafts, and sealed passageways imply a deeper symbolic or functional role for the Sphinx, perhaps ceremonial, astronomical, or funerary. What if the Hall of Records long spoken of in legend truly exists? Even if it holds no mythical knowledge, its presence would mean Egypt's ancient architects encoded their legacy not just in stone, but in silence, in hidden space, waiting to be found. In either case, treasure chamber or hollow vault, the story of the Sphinx would shift from surface wonder to buried truth. The world didn't have to wait long for confirmation that something was indeed hidden. In 2024 and 2025, Technology, media, and one man's confession collided. Leaked scans, AI-enhanced density maps, and the viral explosion of hashtags brought global attention to a secret that had lived in whispers. In the next section, we look at the moment when Hawass finally confirmed the suspicions and how the internet, press, and academia erupted. The public moment. In early 2025, Zahi Hawass stunned the academic world with a televised interview on Nile International News. "We found something, but we cannot reveal everything yet." That single sentence ignited a storm. The man who had long silenced talk of hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx had now admitted there was something real, something found, and something still untold. Shortly afterward, high-resolution subsurface scans were leaked by anonymous sources, allegedly from Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. These images, enhanced using AI-driven computed tomography, revealed geometric voids beneath the Sphinx's northern paw. A central chamber measuring approximately 12 meters long by 9 meters wide became the focus of speculation. Hashtags like #SphinxChamber, #Secrets Under Giza, and #Hawass Confession began trending globally. News outlets from CNN to Al Jazeera ran primetime coverage. Ancient alien theorists, alternative historians, and skeptical scientists alike took to podcasts and platforms. Netflix and the History Channel announced documentaries. The mystery of the Sphinx was now front-page news, and yet Hawass remained cautious. In a follow-up press release, he emphasized preservation. "The Sphinx must not be harmed. We are working with engineers and archaeologists to ensure safety before any excavation can proceed." His tone had changed, but not to full transparency. The confession opened the gates, but the story remained incomplete. The world would have to wait. While media attention surged, researchers quietly advanced new technologies to explore what lay below. Robotic probes, acoustic tomography, and muon detection offered the possibility of seeing without touching. In the next section, we explore how scientific tools could bring clarity without cracking open the Sphinx, and how Egypt's government must now navigate between pressure, preservation, and the pulse of history. Current state and what's next. As of mid-2025, several non-invasive technologies are poised to push exploration further without endangering the Sphinx's structural integrity. One method under review, muon tomography, a particle imaging technique used to map voids in the Great Pyramid of Khufu in 2017. By placing detectors around the Sphinx, researchers could build a high-resolution map of density anomalies without drilling. Additional proposals include robotic probes with fiber optic cameras and ultrasound arrays to be inserted via pre-existing cracks or fissures, avoiding any structural compromise. AI-enhanced voxel modeling from seismic and radar data is being developed by tech teams from Egypt, France, and Japan. These tools offer precision down to centimeter-scale modeling of cavity shape and material composition. However, legal permissions remain the biggest hurdle. Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities has received at least 5 excavation proposals since February 2025, but none have been approved as of August. Internal debate continues. Should the chamber be open now, under high security and media transparency? Or should it wait until safety, public mood, and conservation plans align? Meanwhile, Hawass, no longer holding official office, has become a voice of cautious advocacy. He urges that care, not haste, guide the process. His legacy is now entwined with the Sphinx's secrets. He may never open the chambers himself, but he has set in motion a future that might. The final question now emerges. Does the chamber beneath the Sphinx hold an artifact, a message, a mystery, or simply empty space? In the concluding section, we examine the philosophical and historical stakes. Because even if the chamber is empty, its acknowledgement changes history. And if it's not empty, if it holds something unknown, then the world's oldest monument has just become its newest frontier. The big question. What lies beneath the Sphinx may not just challenge history, it may redefine it. For decades, the argument wasn't just whether there were chambers, it was what they meant. Now, with their existence confirmed, we stand at the edge of the next great archaeological reckoning. The Sphinx, long thought to reveal everything on its surface, may be telling its true story from below. There are three possibilities. First, the void is natural, an erosion chamber or ancient drainage route. This would dampen sensationalism, but still require rewriting parts of the Sphinx's construction history. Second, it's an empty man-made vault, possibly ceremonial, confirming that Egypt's architects encoded rituals far beneath what we can see. Third, it holds relics, inscriptions, or structures that predate dynastic Egypt. In that case, our timeline shifts. For Hawass, the confession marks his final act, not of denial but of disclosure. He passes the torch to a generation with better tools, more transparency, and global visibility. Whether he knew all along or changed his mind late will be debated. But his words, "We found something," will echo far beyond 2025. And for us, we wait. Wait for drills to turn, for cameras to descend, for silence to give way to secrets. Because if even part of the Hall of Records myth is true, if any object lies sealed below one of the world's oldest icons, then the Sphinx isn't just a sentinel of the past. It's the key to a future where history isn't written in books, but in bedrock.